You want to talk about the album then?
No.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about Drew Brees' cock.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I can talk about it real quick though,
Okay.
because I don't have
Okay,
too
but
much
we're
to say.
getting
Other
back to
than
Drew Brees' cock after it.
it was okay. Like, so going into it, the first song, I was like, "Yeah, man, this is kind of cool. I like it." And the second song, I was like, "What the fuck?" It shifted so hard. But
I'm honestly surprised you recommended it. What with your fear of moaning?
there was that.
There was definitely that.
So, I mean, I'll let you guys say all
Fear of
your
moaning?
thoughts.
What is a fear of
I
moaning?
just don't like moaning in music. It's not fear of
Yikes.
moaning.
Got a fear of moaning. He's got moaning phobia.
I just think it's annoying in a lot of songs. But this is like not. It's not like a Led Zeppelin song where it's supposed to be like, I don't know. It's different. It's different in a way.
I don't see the difference.
I think it's different.
Like this
I don't
one,
see
it
the
feels like
difference.
it's trying to be really psychedelic and
Both
weird,
moaning.
and Led Zeppelin feels like they're just trying to be like hypersexual.
They're both trying to
Yeah.
come.
I
It's
don't
the same
know.
way
This
as
one also feels
Marvin
like it's
Gaye.
trying to be like it is supposed to be psychedelic and weird, but like
Oh,
she's actively moaning because they're supposed to be like in the act of sex or something sexual.
Yes.
It's a drug fueled.
I think it's less like planned out.
Yeah, it's true.
Less planned out.
I mean, like,
Oh, shit,
yeah,
well, it's
Marvin
not
Gaye's
first
"I
degree
Want You."
sex,
It's
it's
just a
second
woman
degree
moaning
sex.
in like half the tracks. But it's the album is literally called "I Want You," so it's like a sex album from the 70s. But like this one was just like it was everywhere. That random like Beethoven's Fifth at the end of one of the songs was just like, what is going on?
And the jackhammer sound effect, that's my favorite part.
Yeah,
The
it was
Beethoven part was nice. 'Cause
interesting.
It was when my ears stopped hurting. I was like, "Oh shit, real music!"
It was a nice break.
Because it was like in between the most moaning and
Yeah.
jackhammer noises. I feel
Mhm.
like
Wouldn't say I hate it. It was something.
When I first listened to this album like 4 years ago, I said to myself, this is the worst album that's ever been recorded. And I've since, whether it's like a Stockholm syndrome effect or what, it is not one of my favorite albums, but I really like it because I think it does a lot of interesting stuff that it didn't necessarily have to do, and it kind of has like the jarring initial listen where it's like, God, what the fuck is this? But then I feel like once you listen to it a couple times, maybe it's like an acquired taste thing. Her vocals are definitely like the most standout part, and also the fact that the track just like fucking repeats on like a 2-bar riff or something like that. I wrote down some of my favorite lines from the album, which I think are partially funny, and some of them are kind of interesting. I like the way she says the line, "I did it, yes I did it." It's just kind of funny to me. It's like, so you wouldn't really hear that in any other song. And then my favorite line, probably in any song ever, is "Sex, of course you love sex, you have no choice." That one cracks me up every single time. There's where she screams, "A triangle of nothing." There's just like just like some random bullshit. She's just saying nothing. But it is not a sex thing. It's, as far as I'm aware, sort of like a mental breakdown while tripping on drugs. Maybe it's like a bad trip or something like that. Because none of the lines except for "sex, of course you love sex" are sexual when you actually like get past the very interesting delivery. The way she says all this shit, I'm just like giggling to myself while I listen to this album. But I think the part where it's like, come to my fair, the rides and the slides, and like the breaking of the waves, and it has like a jackhammer sound effect. I think that part is genuinely, it's hard to say this, but like provocative. It just feels like a very visual, abstract experience in a song. Probably like the most abstract song where I could like actually visualize something concrete. I don't know. It's just a really psychedelic, and I like that sort of stuff. But like I said, when I first listened to this album, I thought it was like absolute garbage, like a fucking 0 out of 10 piece of shit. And since then, I've sort of eased up on it because, I don't know, it's like, it's just interesting to me. It's not like really good music. It's just interesting. That's the only way I can put it. So personally, I give this, I'll say a 7.5 out of 10.
Damn.
Yeah.
Strong grade.
Yeah. Pretty up there. It's amongst the albums that I've rated for my own picks, it is the lowest next to the Mountain by Haken and Kafkanized by Kafka Shishido. The last one I recommended. Wow, that was a while ago. It's right next to those two. I think it has more artistic merit than... Oh, and Fats Domino's Swings. I rated that one a 7. It's rated lower or about the same as those three, but there's just a certain thing that I feel like I've acquired the taste of this album in a sense.
What it's designed for or was created for.
Yeah, I feel like what it was going for, it actually really succeeds at, and that's part of the reason why I like it, is because it's not trying to be like a mainstream type of like accessible music. It's trying to be weird and inaccessible. And there was actually I think the record company or the distributors put a little warning on it saying that if you listen to this album more than once a day, your brain will be permanently damaged or something like that. And the artists got really mad that they put that on there. So there's some interesting controversy with that. But yeah. I think it's pretty swell.
Thought it was all right.
Nice. I am honestly more than happy to take an all right for this album, because this album is a lot. It's a very rough album. It's not a pleasant experience even when you do like appreciate what's being said.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. A little weird.
Oh, very weird.
Give it like a 5 out of 10.
Fuck yeah. What about you, Dane?
Yeah, I was probably gonna give it a 5 too, because I didn't hate
In the
it,
club.
but it's a lot.
Yeah. And
So-
like, I obviously no one ever has to go back and listen to this, but if you do ever go back to it and you like soak in the lyrics, it might come off as a better experience. Like I said, the first time I listened to it, I fucking hated it. It was an awful experience. Well, I did sort of laugh at it, but it was like, this is so bad, it's funny. And it's sort of like that still, but there's like a different aspect to it now.
Interesting. So what are we playing?
I don't know.
I have an idea.
What's your idea?
I don't get to say what I thought about the album.
Oh.
Yeah,
we just
let's see.
skipped over Fitz. We just decided he's not real. He's not here.
Well, I have an idea what to play.
Okay, well, that's fine. What do you want
No,
to
I'm
play?
kidding.
Go ahead, Fitzy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I appreciate that you guys got something out of this album, but it honestly seems like to me that someone just believed that they were deeper than they were and then made something that they believed was deeper than they were.
It is
There
very...
are parts of the album I had to take off my headphones because it hurt. It hurt to listen to. Like,
No,
an
and
album shouldn't. I get that you're trying to like expand like the artistic genre of music by making something that is supposed to be more of a experience than like music
right.
in the traditional sense, which I respect in that way. But maybe the experience of the album is something I don't like. It's
Yeah.
It's like if you cooked really good shit, I still don't want to eat shit.
No, and I think no matter the way you look at it, the vocals are just bad. And I can sort of pass it by saying like, oh, it's like
That would be the point.
trying to, yeah, it's what it's trying to do is be kind of bad vocals. Like she's freaking out, having a bad trip or something like that. So that's kind of what someone would sound like during a bad trip.
It kind of seems like you took someone home, did drugs, and like you were gonna have sex, but both of you had a bad trip. Is like essentially what it sounds like to me. There's a lot of sex stuff in there, a lot of like weirdly angry, like yelling at things.
You
noises.
are the source.
Yeah, and then she gets
Arthur.
really mad at the end, like because it seems like you're kicking her out of your house after you both like wake up, and you're just like, "This sucks. I hate you here."
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know. At least it I guess in a way, if it's art, it made me think of something.
Mm-hmm.
But listening to it was a painful experience, like physically painful. Those like doo-dee, like noises, like they just like played essentially like dial tones or like long. I couldn't. It would hurt.
The stupid fucking over the fucking 21-minute whole suite that they have from Brainticket Part 1 to Brainticket Part 2.
Yeah, but I liked the start of it. I was like, oh, that's kind of a nice sounding thing to listen to, and then it just
goes on for 21 minutes.
I don't know. I get like that might be the point that you're supposed to like kind of hate the woman. At some point, I was like, you need to stop. You need to stop talking.
They dropped her immediately after this album, so.
But I feel like that's the point of the album. I don't know.
I think maybe
feel like that fits the album.
It does. I can't really say whether I hate the vocals or the repetitious background music more.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are two like equally bad factors, I'd say. But like, it conveys an artistic point, I think, at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, damn, this is telling a story, and I like what you said. I hate what it's saying. Essentially, I hate the experience of what it's saying. But it's like it might be like how someone could appreciate something like this is drastic, I know, but like a Serbian film. You guys know about that? Oh, it's very fucked up. Yeah, very fucked up. It's like a guy in the movie, and it's very drastic, obviously.
What?
But like, yeah, but like someone might find some sort of like meaning in the story of that movie and get some appreciation through it that way, even though it is fucked up and probably is, or like Human Centipede, for example. But that's kind of similar to how I feel about this album. Somewhere between that and like the Birdemic thing. Birdemic might be a bit more apt, where it's just like a really fucking goofy movie that's trying to convey a message, but is like a little poorly made and a little misguided.
Birdemic's not a little bit poorly made; it's very poorly made. That's the reason why people know about it, is because it's in every way trying to be honest and do it's the best as it possibly can to make a movie and give a message, but it's just so bad at it. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Anyways, what rating do you give it, Fitzy?
Like a 1.
I think that might be the lowest rating ever.
Wowie.
I'm not bad.
I might be able to like at some point appreciate
swinging.
the idea. Like it's tough because like what are we basing it on? Like the merit of like what it might be trying to do?
Entirely up to you, actually.
Or, like,
it really doesn't matter.
Like the merit on what like I appreciate artists that try to take their art form and expand out what that art form may be or what it's trying to do. And in some way, it did affect me by having an emotional response to the music. But you can also give me an emotional response by hitting me in the head with a baseball bat. It doesn't mean it's good art.
What emotional response does that give you?
Anger. And that is interesting in a way that it brings up like an idea about art in general, but like you could also, I guess, do that by just like having a film that was like of paint drying, or like it breaches that idea of like what constitutes art, and like is art the idea of what they were trying to do or how it makes you feel in the moment, and like there's no real answer and it's all subjective. I don't know. But from would I listen to this again? Was this a fun album? No.
Okay, so in Controversy Month, by the way, this album is the lowest, tied with my Fats Domino recommendation. By the way, does anyone remember their ratings for the last week? Because I didn't put those down.
UG Allin one?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a 3 from me, dog.
Okay. What did you give
Yeah.
it, Fitzy?
What, Dane's last week?
No, John's last week.
Jonathan's.
Oh, it was John's.
The shitting and pissing all over the stage, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The one that made you quit
That's the
listening to
one.
music.
Let me see.
At least it didn't make him take his headphones off.
I'm sure if you listened to the full
That's
album, he
true.
would have, though.
I don't know, maybe like a 2.5.
Cool. And you,
It
Dane?
honestly sounds like what teenagers listen to in movies.
I was gonna give it a 4 just because the absurdity of it.
I think I gave it
I-
a 7, so that puts it at the lowest album.
I liked it, but it was
Fucking
It was a
deserves
lot.
it.
Maybe I'll give it a 6.5. I'm kind of reevaluating. But anyways, that's fun. Dane, do you have your controversial album?
I do.
Uh-oh.
I will share it here in a second because I'm looking for some stuff.
So who wants to start? No one? I'll start. It was really good. I liked it a lot. I thoroughly enjoy ambient music, so it was a pleasant surprise. There's one artist on here that I'm familiar with, Hiroshi Yoshimura. Is that how you pronounce that? I assume. His album Green is really good. I didn't like the first song that much, but I liked Hiroshi's song, and then as well as the second and third songs. I think those are the ones that stuck out the most to me. And there's nothing that I don't really like at all except for Still Space. Who else has an opinion?
Yes, Jonathan?
That's fine. You can go ahead.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I like listening to it. But I accidentally listened to it while working on Blender, and then I didn't realize that I think I was like another full album of this deep.
Yeah.
Because Spotify just kept going with it.
Is it
And
actually
some of them,
from...
like, Ear Dreaming reminds me, there's like almost a direct Chrono Trigger song that sounds like one of these songs.
Yeah.
Some
Oh,
of
it's
these
from-
I was gonna say the same thing about Kingdom Hearts.
It kind of sounds like village music and RPGs sometimes.
Because it's from 1980 to 1990. And Chrono Trigger was what, 1992?
I think so, yeah. Sekiro 3 kind of sounds like some Chrono Trigger music too. Which, don't get me wrong, Chrono Trigger is that ODST I've listened to like 1,000 times.
Oh, it's
I love-
95.
And like some of this music I really like, but it also like kind of sounds like whenever I sit down at a piano and I just start like kind of like making melodies that sound nice. Like the last one. It's just I've done that on a piano like a billion times, which isn't a bad or good thing. I just
This is actually not even the full album, technically. There's a couple versions that are like, what is this, 23 songs long. One of them's 15 minutes or 16 minutes. What about you, John? What did you think of the album?
It was alright. It's ambient music.
Ambient?
That's true.
I was gonna say that Ear Dreaming sounded a lot like Kingdom Hearts.
Well, they're both Square Enix, so
It's true. Sounded like Agrabah, I think. Or no, the jungle. Something.
Yeah, the late 70s to like late 80s, I feel like has a lot of music in this vein that went on to inspire a lot of video game music. Especially, not even only Japanese music, like a lot of stuff just in this sort of genre. The video game music wears it on its sleeve, in a sense. I'd say from like 76 to 89. It's probably that pinnacle period of video game sounding music that wasn't quite in the video games of the time. Like, it wasn't like 8-bit fucking Mario music. Yeah. So I give it... Oh, wait, what did you think of it, Dane? Obviously, you recommended it, but...
Oh, I like it. It's just different and it's engaging in a different way. It's fun. I don't remember how I found this, but I've always like just had it in my library.
Yeah.
I think probably my favorite is either Blink or Glass Chattering.
Yeah. Those are my top two as well. I mean, I personally think I'd give it like an 8. I liked it a lot. I would listen to it. Background music, I would listen to it just kind of casually. It's not. I wouldn't say it's not too deep, and I'm also usually not a big fan of like various artists like little compilation things. And I don't think.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. If
I know we had that rule, and I didn't realize until like after.
That's not like. I don't care honestly, because this is like a compilation of different people. It's not like a compilation of.
Their greatest hits.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we said. Greatest hits and stuff like that.
That's different. I don't even know if Blink is an officially released song by, or if it was just a single by Hiroshi Yoshimura.
Yeah, it's not on his
Well,
like his artist page. Oh yeah, it is.
Oh right, yeah, because
For music for blind postcards.
also a lot of Japanese. Oh no, it's one of his first released songs. A lot of Japanese artists don't have, especially from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They don't have a lot of their stuff on Spotify because of, I assume, like record company stuff. He has an album every year, like 82, 83, 84, 86. Green, the one that's listed on Spotify, is from 86 as well. There's another one in 88. None of them except for Green are listed. And let's see, I think there's one more in there. Oh, his debut is listed in there. I didn't recognize it. But yeah, so his debut, and then Green, and then nothing else. There's like 3 albums in between and like 7 after, or 8. So he has a lot of music, but Spotify sucks sometimes with that stuff. What about you, John? What would you rate it?
5.5.
5.5? What about you, Fitzy?
I'll give it a 7.
Hey!
Might be the first album I've ever rated higher than John. That wasn't I guess it is Japanese. Fuck. I was gonna say if it isn't in a different language.
Yeah, 7.
But it was ambience.
You gave Into the Gap a 7? What the fuck? It's a goofy little album. You also gave my Deer Hunter album a 7. You gave... Yeah. You gave Black Alicious a 7.5.
Black Lotus?
Yeah, it was my hip-hop album. What about you, Dane? What do you rate it?
Probably 7.5. Closer to 8.
So 7.75.
Yeah. 5 out of 7.
A
That's good.
strong 7.
Or I could just go, it's 7 closer to an 8 than a 6.
That does put it at one of the highest rated of all time.
Cool.
Not so controversial.
It benefits.
Not so controversial at all.
Yeah, you guys actually liked it more than I thought you would. Well, I thought I thought you would hate it, to be honest, but didn't know where Fitzy would sit on it. I figured Jake might enjoy it.
You listen to music to get hype, like to do the opposite, to be more excited than not excited, but I don't know. It's still nice to be in a nice mood.
Yeah, it's nice. Like, there's one that has, I can't remember which one it is, but it has like wind chimes in it, and it's just like, I don't know, you just think about being on a patio or something in a windy summer day. It's just nice. So it's a nice album. I do think it benefits better as an album experience rather than individual songs, even though it is a compilation.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
It's also not that long, which is nice. 42 minutes. Pretty good. I'll go first. I think the way that I want to say this sounds harsher than it actually is, because I think it was a decent album overall, but I think the biggest issue for me was that it kind of felt a little, and I don't know if this was the point as well, but a little lifeless or emotionally disjointed. I didn't get a lot of emotional stuff out of it, is what I'm trying to say. This sounds harsh as well, and I don't mean as harsh as it sounds, but it's like almost how I would expect AI generated music to sound. It's got stuff in it that sounds like it's made to be the most appealing, like generally appealing, like enjoyed by the masses. Like it's like crowd pleasing, and it feels like it's just like manufactured. But I think a lot of it I find kind of boring. And again, I sound so harsh here, but I didn't like hate the album or anything. I just didn't find it interesting. However, there are good moments in here, and that kind of brings me to a thing that I've been thinking about recently, which is a thing called moments songs, which is where a song is justified by a moment, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but it's like the song is fine, but there's one real good part to it, and that's it. My favorite songs, I'm not sure what the names are, but I think I like songs 4 and song 7 and maybe 9. I know for sure 4 and 7 I like the most. But I know there was one later on that I liked. But the rest of them I just kind of didn't have any emotion towards, like one way or another. I didn't like it, didn't really hate it. Obviously, if you cut out the songs I didn't like, I would like it more. But, like, I feel like if this was maybe 5 songs shorter, I would like it a little more because it wouldn't be so overall kind of boring, I guess. I think it'd be like a 6 instead of a 5.5. It's still like an okay album. It's not bad by any means. It has good moments, but like, I was thinking about this when I was listening to it. I feel like if this came out in like 2005 or 2007, I would not be surprised. I guess in a way it kind of feels cliche or stale or stagnant in the genre. I just didn't feel a lot of originality in it. It could be that they're just trying to emulate a sound because it's part of the show, and that's fine. But like as an album, it just didn't really mesh with me. But yeah, 5.5 for me. It's fine. Nothing too terribly awful. Nothing too terribly good. Is that too harsh? I could judge it for the instrumental and vocal aspects, but I can't really judge it for the lyrics because I like watching a K-drama. Some people don't realize how cheesy and bad the dialogue is because they don't speak Korean. But then like Korean speakers will be like, it sucks because they actually know the context of what's being said without subtitles, you know?
I listened to the album and it was alright. A lot of this, I don't know. A lot of it just kind of blended together for me. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like a huge fan of it, but I didn't hate it. I'd probably give it like a 4.
Let's see. For the album, I liked it. It was very enjoyable. But the album, actually, I want to watch the show now because of the album.
It's very good. Some of the songs are even better inside the show because they have like solos at the beginning that they don't have in the fucking album for some goddamn reason.
I think also that is like one of the weird parts of this album is like if you watch the show you probably know, but like just coming in from a non like viewing experience, it's like different maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that like re-listening to this album, like all of the songs all in a row, like I do kind of agree with John that some of them do eventually blend together. But then I remembered from listening to in the middle of that like kind of blend, there were the ones that they obviously used in the show and they were fucking rad. And I was like, damn, I forgot how good those songs were. Which were like 7 was one they used in the show, or 6 or 7 was one they used in the show.
7 was really good.
And that was the one they had a solo at the beginning.
Oh,
that's
Ano
like
Bando.
fucking rad.
I like that one.
Oh god, what is
like
that?
9. 9's also the name of it's fun.
If it was an EP of like songs 4, 7, and 2 other songs, I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10.
9, no, not 9. 13. I like 13. It's Fresh Idiot. I like that song.
Fresh Idiot?
Yeah, it's Freshu Baka.
Anyways, Dane, what's your rating?
I'll give it a 7.
7. What about you, Fitzy? What's your thoughts and rating?
I guess that's what it was. It's just like some of the songs did blend together for me in the end. But I think those were kind of the openings and endings they used throughout the show. I still really like them, and it's still just like I didn't realize how fast the album went for me. I didn't realize, that's why last time I was like it was an hour, because I enjoy all the songs on it, but there are definitely some standouts that you can tell they may have put more time into, because there are some really good bangers in there that I really enjoy listening to. But
like moments or hit songs. I love calling songs that. Like that's a hit song, like a song that was clearly made to be a hit on an album. All the other songs don't have as much effort. This one was made to be the single.
And then you can definitely tell. I mean, I don't know. The opening I think is still good. There's the openings on there, and then the 2 songs the actual band writes in the show together are obviously really good because they're tied to like important emotional parts in the show. But some of like the endings I think can kind of blend together, which is kind of I guess not really the point, but can happen because endings and openings are both supposed to kind of have the same feel to them because they're supposed to get you excited for the show and get you wound down after the show. So I can get that those can kind of come together, but
yeah, and I feel like an issue with something like this maybe is that when it is like tied to the show so heavily, you feel like Dane was saying, that you kind of have a different experience just listening to it. And like I was saying, where I had like zero emotional connection to any point in the song, like maybe also if the lyrics were in English and I could understand what they were actually saying, it could feel, there could be more emotion. But I just like had zero connection to it in that sense. I was like, there's some cool moments, but that's about it. But yeah, because I was thinking about someday maybe suggesting a Flight of the Conchords album, but then I was thinking about it, I was like, is that even good if you don't watch the show? Like, I like the songs without watching the show, but I don't know if that's like an issue that would like alter the perception of the music if you haven't seen the show in the first place. Maybe I'll make you guys watch the whole season associated with the album. Just kidding. Do you have a rating, Fitzy?
Like a 7.5.
Okay, that brings it to an average of 6, which is right below Dane's album, which was a 7.0625, above my album, which was a 4.625, and above John's album, which was a 4. So controversial month, I'd say overall was pretty controversial. We got a decent range amongst the averages. We got our lowest rating of all time, which is a 1, which is only slightly lower than Fats Domino and Fats Waller, which were also the lowest ones, also from Fitzy.
I'm Fitzy.
Pessimist
Hell
Fitzy.
yeah.
Downer Fitzy.
Pessimist Fitzy.
Which are also only slightly higher than the In the Court of the Crimson King album. You're a hater, Fitzy.
It does sound like me.
It's alright. Why?
Why?
And I wonder...
Wonder.
Bite?
Why?
Where's my mouth? Oh, I lost my mouth.
She went away. Anyways, we should all die.